folks, it's Saturday vlog at Stringfield Ridge Farm. I am going to go out and make manure or compost. I'm gonna call it compost tea. It could also be called manure tea, I guess. I'm gonna go get a bucket and I'm going to get some compost and some horse manure and chicken manure and mix it all up in a bucket of water and let it sit for a little while and then pour it on my garden. So I'll show you that a little bit. I'm making sun tea, checking the quail out. The Banny chicken that I was trying to hatch, that somebody gave me the eggs because their Banny quit laying on them, and it was hatching out in the incubator back there, and I showed that on my last quail video, and it didn't make it. It died. I don't know what happened. It was a little upsetting because I was looking forward to hatching out my first egg in the incubator. It started hatching and it started breaking the shell away and was chirping, and then it, like a whole day later, it still wasn't out of there, and we kept waiting and waiting, and then Lee called me and he said I think it's done died. He said, I haven't seen it move or heard it in a while, and so I told him to go ahead and check it out, and he went ahead and peeled everything back and it was already dead. So it died hatching out. I don't know what happened. I don't understand those things. Maybe we will learn as we go, I guess. I hope I don't have any more die, but we've got several more in there. There's a couple more Banny eggs, and there is the quail eggs and the button quail eggs. So we'll see how they do. It's not quite time for those yet. Now the other two Bannies should be hatching out. So if they don't start hatching out in the next couple of days, I'm thinking I probably need to get rid of them. I don't know. From what I have read, they should all hatch out around the same time, but it could be a couple of days in between. But what I read said if one hatches and the others don't hatch within a couple of days, they're probably not going to make it. So we'll see. I may leave them 3 or 4 days just to be sure, because I don't want to throw anybody out that don't deserve to go out. So but we'll see. The quail like a few more days. I think this is day 15 or 16. I'll have to look. I've got it written down. This is day 15 or 16, and they can take 18 days. What I read said 16 to 18 days. So after 18 days, I'll probably give them a few more days, and then if they don't do anything, maybe we'll just have to throw them all out and start all over. I don't know. I hate to do that. I'd really like to at least hatch 1 or 2 out. It's kind of exciting, and I would have loved to have hatched some out, and so maybe we will. I've got lots to do. It's just, you know, you have lots to do, and you just kind of jump in and start doing, and you don't get it all done. You never get it all done, so, you know, just jump in and get the most important things done first. And right now, our garden hadn't been looking too great, but we are kind of at a comeback. It wasn't looking good, but now we've got some things that are starting to look a little better. So I thought maybe the compost tea would help. So I'm gonna make compost tea and put on a lot of my garden stuff that needs it, and hope that everything perks back up and looks good. We are fixing to plant a fall garden, and we're just gonna plant even more than we ever have, because our summer garden didn't do too great, and we want to be sure we've got some stuff to can. So we're going to do a really good fall garden, so that at least this fall, maybe late fall, whatever, as long as we've got some stuff to can. And then a little later, I'll plant some cool weather things. I've marked down in my calendar. I marked the first frost and went back 8 weeks from that to start planting my really cool weather stuff like lettuce, kale, spinach. We're gonna do lots of turnips. We both like turnips, and we've never canned them before. He wants me to can turnips, turnip greens. He wants me to can turnip greens. So we're going to do that either this weekend or the next. So that's what we're kind of working on, is getting this garden that we've got looking better and planting a whole bunch for the fall garden. There's that compost tea I'm making. It has horse manure, chicken manure, compost, and ashes out of the fire pit. And then I just put water in it and filled that up, and I'm going to let that sit a little while, and then I'm going to use that as a fertilizer to pour on my garden. So it's mostly compost, and then it's got a little horse manure and a little chicken manure and a little ash from the wood pile, the fire pit. I've stirred that up good, let that sit for, I don't know, a couple of hours at least. So that old compost bin that we were using, we moved our compost bin. The roots from that tree were getting up in it, and we couldn't dig down and get our compost and turn it and everything. It was too hard because the roots were getting in the way. So we decided to move the compost bin to a more convenient and better location. Well, we left this for a little bit, and the chickens have turned it into a dust bath. And you can kind of see in there where they've rolled and rolled around. And it seems like every day when it's hot up here in the day, you can find them out here rolling in that. So we have decided to leave it, at least for now, and let the chickens use it as a dust bath. Just a little advice here. Right after we moved back here, Lee built this little swing. We bought the swing from a local guy that does picnic tables and swings and things he's called Cedar Chips. He makes cedar lawn furniture and picnic tables and such. And Lee built the canopy for it. And I wanted a climbing vine on it. And I think I probably will get another one, but I'll get a little thin one. But at the time when we moved here, I had found some wisteria. The dog wants out. I had planted some wisteria. And I'm going to show you a little advice. Do not plant wisteria. If you plant wisteria, get the bush type or get something away from everything else that you can let it grow on that won't bother anything. We had wisteria. We had wisteria growing all over this, and it got so heavy up there, and it was dripping down, and we trimmed and trimmed. You can't trim the stuff. The more you trim it, the more it grows, and it's just very invasive. And it had gotten so thick up there that when you sat on the swing, stuff would fall down out of it on your head. So I wouldn't even sit on it anymore. But we dug it out. We have dug this wisteria out probably 3 times. And look at there. Coming back again. We have dug that up like 3 times to get rid of it, and you just can't. You just can't hardly get rid of it. I'm not real sure how to get rid of it. We had a piece on each side. Now I don't see one over here this time. Maybe we got rid of that one. I'm not going to count on it. But for sure, there's one growing right there. So it's very hard to get rid of. It's very invasive, and it will just destroy something like that. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful when it was in bloom. But I couldn't sit in my swing when that was up there. I'm thinking about maybe getting something else that's lighter, like a cardinal vine, and trying that. Or I may just forget it and not let nothing grow on it so that I can enjoy my swing. There's the new compost bin by the quail cage. We're going to put a little straw or something down there underneath the quail. That way it'll catch all the droppings, and then we can just scoop them right over into the compost. I'm going to step back and show that good. There it is. And we're teaching the grandkids about composting.
Oh my God.
So I'm just going to dump the scraps from the kitchen. Way up in the compost pile. There we go. Good job. Good job. All right.
It's yucky, ain't it?
Yes.
Good job.
It's all right.
It's all right. Yes, it's yucky, but it'll turn into some beautiful soil to put on the gardens.
Now put the metal on the back so that it don't dry out
Teach
the
them
backside.
kids young. Teach them about compost and gardening and chickens.
Lesson.
Yep. One pumpkin's better than nothing, ain't it? We have one pumpkin
Okay.
right now
Look,
coming up,
Papa, look at
hoping for more. But Bubby said one's better than nothing.
Yep, that's pumpkin plant. That's pumpkin flowers.
Thanks for some more. There's 1, 2, 3.
Anything growing in there. Yeah,
Those
there's
aren't
some
ready.
little
Those
ones.
won't be ready till they start drying up.
Yeah.
When they turn brown,
Yeah, don't
pick
push on
them.
them too far.
Don't mess with them. When they
I was
turn
just trying
brown,
to
they'll
check
be
'em
ready.
out.
They're not ripe in there yet.
That one, it's almost something in there.
That's the reason
Yeah,
why I
but
left all them up in
It'll
there.
be fall when they start turning brown before we can eat them.
I always eat
Those are
grass.
brown cherries.
I always eat grass.
You always eat grass?
Yeah. You're gonna turn into a bug.
That's
You like
okay.
eating
Some
grass?
grass is good to eat, ain't it, Bub?
Yeah.
Well, we've got 4 little quail hatched out. One is the button quail, it's the little bitty egg. The button quail is, you can see him right over in there. There's
On
the
the
3
right-hand side.
quail and then the little button quail. He's a whole lot smaller than the other 3. See him there? The bottom, he's a little bit smaller than the other 3.
Yeah, that one right there beside of him is the last one that hatched out. He still
Yeah,
ain't
he's
got
still
his.
kind of wet.
Yeah,
This
he
one's
still
still
ain't
kind
getting
of wet.
his.
There's the other 2.
He ain't getting
And
his
then there's the
feeding
little
good yet.
button quail right there. And this one's still kind of wet, so probably have a couple of more. There's several more eggs in there. They just hatched out, what, about an hour, 2 hours ago? So,
The first 2 hatched out probably about 3 hours ago. And then that last one, he hatched out maybe an hour ago.
so we're just gonna leave them in this incubator. I read that you could leave them in there like 24 hours to make sure they get good and fluffy and do good, and then put them in a brooder after that. Right now they're just in the incubator that they hatched out in. Thanks for watching, and leave us a comment.